World of Warcraft Classic Season of Discovery is finally here. This is a guide for you to be a druid, technically resto, healer, and I'm going to go through everything you need to know from stat priority, race and professions, talents, rotation, gear, and of course, the new runes that are going to completely change your playstyle. Starting off with the stat priority, this is the order you are going to want things in. First up is spell healing, then we have MP5, otherwise known as mana every 5 seconds, then intellect, then spirit, and then spell critical strike. A few other stats that you want to be aware of that you can take are going to be resistance, which is going to reduce your damage taken from a specific element. Then we've got stamina, which is going to increase your health, and spell hit rating, which we want to get up to 16% if we can, which is going to be the cap. Regarding race choices, you're going to have one option per side. Alliance is going to be Night Elf, and Horde is going to be Tauren. Now, if you can't decide, this is why it matters. On a Night Elf, we're going to have some nature resistance, which is increased by 10. We're going to have Wisp Spirit, meaning that when we're dead, we're going to turn into a wisp, and that movement speed is 50% faster. We're also going to have quickness, meaning we have an extra 1% dodge chance as a night elf, and we can shadow meld, which can slip into the shadows, reducing chance for enemies to detect your presence. This does last until cancelled or upon moving. If you do then choose to become a Tauren, we have cultivation, increasing our herbalism, endurance, increasing our total health by 5%, which is huge, nature resistance again, which is up by 10, and war stomp, which can actually stun nearby enemies. So overall, I personally would choose a Tauren, but of course, if you want to be Alliance, you won't be able to. The best profession to go for is going to be engineering, as this does actually offer a best in slot head item up to the 25 level cap that we're going to have in Season of Discovery. You could also take tailoring or other professions. To be honest, it doesn't matter too much, but engineering would be the best. This is the talent build here that I would recommend for Season of Discovery as a Resto Druid. You're going to want to put 5 out of 5 points into Improved Mark of the Wild, which is going to increase the effects of your Mark of the Wild and Gift of the Wild spells by 35%. You've then got, of course, your Improved Healing Touch, which is going to reduce the cast time of the spell. We're going to put 1 point into Nature's Focus, which is the second row down, central one. This is going to give you a 14% chance to avoid interruption caused by damage when casting Healing Touch, Regrowth, and Tranquility. On the third row, we're going to have 3 points in Reflection, allowing 15% of your mana regen to continue while casting, which is huge. Then 1 point into Insect Swarm. This is going to give us some DPS. There's just basically nothing else better to put it into at this point. The enemy target is swarmed by insects, decreasing their chance to be hit and causing damage over time. And then with our last single point, we're going to put it into Improved Rejuvenation, which is going to increase the effect of your Rejuvenation spell by 5%. Looking purely at the healing runes that we can get, and I will say we don't actually know how we can get these yet. I will put them down in the description once the information is released on actually how we acquire these runes or where they can be discovered, but these are the ones that you are going to want. The first up is Wild Growth. This is a multi-person heal, if you don't know, and we're going to gain this ability, and it will outpace our Healing Touch. Second is Life Bloom. This is a strong heal over time that we can actually put on someone, and it is also going to reduce the global cooldown of Life Bloom and Rejuvenation in this rune. Last but not least is Living Seed, which basically, when you critically heal, when you're healing someone, so you crit on a heal, it's going to plant a healing seed or a living seed onto that target. When that target is then next attacked, that living seed will bloom and do healing to them. Now, there is one more that I want to go over, and that is Fury of Storm Rage. So when you are doing any DPS as a Resto Druid, then this one is actually going to make it so that your Wrath spell costs no mana, and casting it has a proc to make your next Healing Touch also be instant cast. So this is actually going to benefit you as well as a healer, and this is another option that you can take. Now looking at the rotation, this here is the simple rotation you are going to want to follow in Season of Discovery. First of all, make sure Fairy Fire and Insect Swarm stay on the boss. Fairy Fire is going to decrease their armor, and Insect Swarm, as we discussed earlier, will do a dot on the target or damage over time. Then we're going to use Healing Touch to solve most of our healing problems. We're going to keep Rejuvenation on the tank, which is a heal over time spell. And then we're going to include Regrowth to increase that buffer if the tank damage is really, really high. And then when a few different raiders or, people around you, so an AoE heal spell is needed, we're going to use Wild Growth. And of course, that is going to be from that Wild Growth rune. And then, of course, when a lot of raiders are taking periodic damage, we can spread some rejuvenations over them as well. Looking at consumables then, we've got our mana potion, of course, which is going to be the best one available for restoring mana. There is an elixir of wisdom, but by the way, this doesn't stack with arcane intellect. There's the elixir of fortitude, which is the best one for survivability at level 25. And then there's the strong Troll's Blood Potion, which is a really good regen one that, for a healer, not sure if it's actually that useful or not. And then you have the free action potion, which can be used against bosses and enemies that have stuns. Last but not least, let's look at the gear that we're going to want to work towards in Season of Discovery. Going from the top here on our shoulders, which is Feline Mantle, these are going to be from Shadowfang Keep. Also from Shadowfang Keep, from Archmage Aragol, is the Robes of Aragol. God, that was a tongue twister. And then we have the Crescent Staff. This is from the Wailing Caverns, from Leaders of the Fang Quest. So this is going to be Horde only for this one. You do also have the Emberstone Staff, which is from Captain Greenskin in the Dead Mines. Then for the belt, again, it's the Belt of Aragol. That is from Archmage Aragol, again in Shadowfang Keep. Then we have the Deep Fathom Ring. This is from Mutinous the Devourer in the Wailing Caverns. And the last three that are above my head here are going to be the Rune of Perfection, which is friendly with Warsong Gulch, the Advisor's Ring, which is honoured, and the Advisor's Gnarled Staff at Revered with the Warsong Gulch reputation. So you are going to need to do some PvP for those three. And that is it for the Restoration Healing Druid Guide for Season of Discovery. I hope that was really helpful and gave you everything you needed to know. Again, don't forget, when I do find out where we find the runes, I am going to put them down below in the description. That information is just not available yet, unfortunately. If you do like these class guides, or you're also playing retail, I have all class guides for 10.2 for there as well. If you do have any more questions or just want to hang out and, with other WoW players, then join my Discord.